What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of PSR. Today we have the Kalashnikov USA KP-104. This is an AK-104 clone, very much like the original, and we're going to give our first impressions here on the range. But first, I've got to thank the channel sponsor for PSR. Who is that? That is KAK. KAK. I like KAK. I like KAK quite a bit. Why? Well, because they are a great manufacturer of all sorts of AR parts. If you want to build an AR, KAK is a place to go. Why? Well, it's made right here in the USA. High quality parts for not that much money. They just released a K-spec bolt carrier group in 7.6239 if you want to build the Chad caliber AR. So thank you, KAK, for sponsoring this channel. Alright, so I'm going to forego the Russian accent for this part of the video because I want to explain what exactly this is. Kalashnikov USA KP-104, and it is technically a pistol. As you see, this is how it comes. Nothing on the back, no shoulder thing that goes up here, and it's got a 12.4 inch barrel. It is chambered in 7.62 by 39. It's a nice looking firearm. You might see this and think, oh, it doesn't have a stock on it, it's a Draco. Well, it's definitely not a Draco, and I'm going to explain a little bit about the history of the AK-104 platform. If you watch my other video on the Kalashnikov USA KR-103, that's the rifle version of this gun. The AK-103 and 104 are both chambered in 7.62 by 39. If you're familiar with one of the coolest, most iconic guns of all time, the AKS-74U, the Krinkov as it's known as, it looks kind of similar to this. This is a bit bigger, bit girthier, a bit beefier, and the AKS-74U fired the 5.45 by 39 cartridge, whereas this fires the 7.62 by 39 cartridge. So while the Krinkov was used internally quite a bit by the Russian government, they wanted to create an export that was going to be easier to make and something that didn't require such complex, unique parts. So the AKS-74U, it had a lot of its own unique parts that just didn't fit any other guns. Therefore, it was a little bit more complex, a little bit more expensive to manufacture. Whereas the AK-103 and AK-100 series, they all use very similar furniture, very similar components to make a much more inexpensive rifle and one that was easier to standardize across each platform. So like I said in my previous video with the KR-103, the AK-103 and AK-104 platforms were kind of created and overseen by Mikhail Kalashnikov in the 90s, early 90s. This project was his last that he actually had his hand in, which I think is pretty cool. And this here in particular, KUSA version, stays super true to the original AK-104, and that's probably the best thing that I like about the Kalashnikov USA rifles and pistols, are that they're very, very true to the originals, and it's like almost an exact clone. Now, this being a shorter firearm than the AK-103, obviously there is some weight savings. And where did that happen? Well, that happened up here at the front. Obviously, this is a 12.4 inch barrel, as I mentioned, and this is a combination gas block and front sight. So the AK-103 did not have a combination gas block and front sight, although one thing that they did use is it's got the same exact gas tube as the AK-103 and the same exact furniture. Therefore, it's much easier to standardize across both guns. So it's super easy to interchange parts, and that kept the cost of manufacturing down. Having the front sight and the gas block together definitely saves weight in this particular gun. This gun does have a accessory rail here, which is standard on all of the AK-100 series rifles. And the rear trunnion here uses a folding mechanism, which you press this button here, and the rear will fold out. Now, there's nothing on the back of it, so there's no real reason to fold it. But normally, if this was an SBR, or you just didn't have the stupid NFA laws that we have to deal with in the US, this would be a stock here, and it would fold, and there's a little hinge pin right here for that stock to lock into, which is really nice. And once you have a stock on here, I would assume that it would just be very easy to walk around with, but it's not sacrificing too much in terms of velocity and barrel length here, because it's only, 4 or 5 inches shorter than the 16 or so inch barrel that's on the AK-103. The finish on this gun is super nice. It's got kind of this smooth, shinier sheen to it. As compared to some other AK manufacturers here in the States, Kalashnikov USA, like I said, they pay extreme attention to detail to make sure it's really quite clone correct to the original. So the only thing that's on here that's not quite clone correct is this rear sight. So the rear sight on the original AK-104 is supposed to be 500 meters. This is 1,000 meters, maybe a little bit of cost savings. I won't fault them too much for that. This is almost completely like the original, just with the only exception being that rear sight. The gun comes with a manual, of course, a gun lock. It comes in a nice case, and it's got this here beautiful polymer mag, which I believe stays true to the original, except this is a US made one. Another thing that KUSA did a great job with is this muzzle device. So if you're familiar with the AKS-74U, you'll know that it has a very similar booster muzzle device to this one. The AKS-74U required the booster to maintain reliability. It was made to keep the gas pressure high in there to be able to cycle the bolt properly, because it's only an 8-inch barrel, and with that 5.45 by 39 cartridge, it wasn't completely reliable without it. Whereas this here, you don't necessarily need this booster, but it is what was on the original AK-104s, and it's got this little cone that acts as a flash hider and this expansion chamber here, which allows the gases to build up and just maintain the right velocity throughout the system and keep the bolt cycling properly. But like I said, don't necessarily need this. I want to try actually taking this off and see what kind of flash we get. If we get any kind of reliability issues at all, I doubt that we will. The last little tism bit here is that it's actually pretty cool. They used not just the AK-74 length, they used the proper length of this booster, which is actually just a little bit shorter on the AK-104 than it is on the AKS-74U. Fun fact. One last thing before we get started, we're going to be shooting this Tela ammo. Yes, it's called Tela ammo. It's a new brand here. It's nice in this nice light green box, and the cool thing is it's a steel case, non-corrosive, of course. It's bared and primed. It's very nice ammo, better than a lot of the shitty steel case you get. And they sent me this, so we're going to be shooting all Tela ammo today. It's going to be a lot of fun here on the range. They are also going to be importing 5.45 by 39 ammo. So that is something that we really need here, because it's hard to get, it's expensive. So shouts out to Tela Ammo for providing the ammo for today's video. It's hard to believe this thing is actually a pistol here in the US. It's so fucked up and dumb that this is actually considered a handgun. It is a fucking handgun. So I guess we'll have to shoot it like a handgun at first to see how it shoots, because technically this is a pistol, and we're going to use it in this configuration for this entire video today, because this is what you get when you buy a pistol here in the United States. Now, AK pistol don't come with brace, so we have fun without brace. We do a little hip shooting, we see if we can bump fire. Anyway, I say we get started shooting this thing. Let's fucking go. Alright, here we are with the KP-104. We're going to shoot it like a pistol at first, because of course, thanks to all these stupid NFA laws, this is a pistol, so we should shoot it like one. Also, I should note that I have not cleaned or lubed anything, done anything to this gun. It should shoot out of the box, given that it's an AK. If it doesn't, then it fails this test. So let's go through this whole mag with the pistol style. Maybe I'll do a little two hands, but for now we're keeping both hands on the grip. I'm going to see how it goes. Okay, we've already got one chambered. Let's give it. Boom. Well, it's not too bad. Oh, I hit it. Nice. That's like 60 yards away on the steel. Ha 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 ha. Oh, yes. Oh, wow. This is accurate, huh? Oh, my God. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, little blaster. That's a good trigger. Now I'm having a little hard time holding it now. Oh. Oh, very nice. Not too bad. It's functioning just fine, even though I may be like limp wristing it a little bit because it is a little heavy to hold like pistol, but doing all right. I hit the steel target more than I thought I would. All right, let's finish out the mag. All right, finish the rest of the mag with two hands. Maybe more accurate with two hands on the grip, huh? Huh. Try it like a pistol again. Oh, there we go. And we're clear. All right. So this is the mag that came with the gun, and it did just fine. No steel feed lips, but we got steel piece here, of course. That is good. Ran fine, no reliability issues. Huh, very nice. So far so good with the KP104. Let's try to mag dump this entire PMAG as fast as we can. I'm going to try to gump it later, but for now we just do mag dump. And yes, this mag fits in there nice. Magpul PMAG that I painted. Alright. Let's fucking give her, bud. And we're clear. I think someone down there had a very bad day. So far so good with the KP104 from Kalashnikov USA. I say we bring in the drum, baby. This right here is a 75 round drum from none other than KCI USA. They sent me this, so I want to thank them because we're going to have a lot of fun shooting this here drum. Hopefully I loaded it correctly and it functions well. I'm going to try to gump it. KUSA does make a trigger that can fit in here that's 2.5 pounds. That would be very good for doing some forest gumping. But we'll have to see how the stock one does. Let's give it. I'm hoping that I can gump this thing, but maybe it won't work. But regardless, I think we should do some little bit of real torture to this, because this is already quite hot. And it's almost too hot for me to touch right now, but I've got gloves on, luckily. Alright, let's try the drum and gumping it. It's a little bit hard to gump right now for me, for some reason. I'm not very good at gumping, I guess. Oh, you know what? We're just going to fucking mag dump it. I can't gump it. Look at this. We're really putting it through the ringer. Getting all of that factory grease. Getting nice and... the smell of his smoking AK. Better than my mother's home cooking. So far so good. This thing is fucking hot.
Father Mikhail, looking down from above, observe this beautiful smoke coming out of this creation that you made. How beautiful the sight of this. I am proud for my AK, because it has been absolutely shot the way it was intended. And as we see the AK, it keeps going forever. Spasiba, Mikhail.
Alright, so I've let the AK cool down just a little bit. I can hold it now with my hand and not get burned. That's what she said. I want to measure kind of how crazy the blast is with and without this booster. So we take our little 7.62 by 39, and there's a little detent here. This is for cleaning only, for YouTube, of course. We're disassembling it for cleaning, completely okay. And we're going to turn left here on these threads, and the detent is just held by a spring, and it should come off like this. So there's our booster, nice little pretty like flower. Now we try it with and without and see how the blast is. Alright, let's go. Alright, we're rolling in 240 frames per second. What I've done is it's a little bit underexposed so we can see the flash a little bit better on the camera. Alright, here we go. No booster on this first shots. I'm going to do 3 shots. Very quick succession. Let's see how the blast goes. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright. Alright, now just to be safe, we're going to eject this round so we have nothing in the chamber. We want to put the safety on. And then we're going to try to just slip our muzzle device, the booster back on here. Don't need any blown fingers. All right, so it stays put right here, nice and good. All right, now we try 3 shots with the booster. All right, 1, 2, 3. Be interesting to see what it looked like. Alright, so it appears, of course, there was no reliability issues with taking off that booster, but it did affect the flash. There was quite a bit more flash I perceived on the video than with it on. So without it on, did not do as good job suppressing the flash as expected, but just thought we would try it. Alright, as previously seen on this channel, I like to use the Firebird target to blow up the target, make them have very bad day. So a couple of these targets, hopefully they have bad days right now. And we're going to try our KP104 pistol style with the 2 hands on the grip. See if I can hit these Firebird targets. Let's go. Let's go the closest one first. Oh, very bad day for that one. Very, very bad day for him. Oh, both them knock over. I'm so sorry, guys. All right, now this is a little bit harder. We got smaller targets in the distance. Got the little red guy on the left of the hay bale. We got another one on the right of the hay bale. Let's give it a shot. Oh, right now we're 3 for 3 on the bad guys having very bad days. Oh, down goes that target too. All right, next one up. Let's see if I can go 4 for 4. Here we go. And that one did not have as big of a boom, but he had bad day because he lit on fire with the smoke. A lot of fun, I tell you, this thing. And I shoot 4 for 4, not bad. Well, we've had an absolutely ballerific time shooting this AK out here on the range. A couple bad guys down the range had very bad days, of course, which is a fun time. And this thing performed great. It got a little hot. We got it hot. You know, it's an AK. It gets a little hot sometimes when you ring it out, but it did a great job. No problems, no malfunctions. So what do we have in store for this rifle? Well, it's not a rifle yet, but it's going to become a rifle, because what I've done is I've gotten this barrel extension that we're going to permanently affix to this gun, and we're going to pimp this baby right out. We're going to do a little pimp my 104 video, which should be a lot of fun, because we've got a lot of fun cyberpunk AK accessories we're going to affix to this basic pistol to make it into a very, very effective weapon. So I hope you tune in to the next episode on this gun, because we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to go very hard with the TISM on the AK-104 in the next episode. So until then though, I want to thank you guys for watching another episode of PSR. Comrade, have a good one. Don't get too mad at your mother. She tried her best to raise you, okay? Goodbye. Very similar components, 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 and as compared to a lot of other, and as compared to some other AK, as compared to some other American, as compared to some